23 Astonishing Facts about Bhutan. The most isolated country in the world, a precious gem hidden in the Himalayas. The strange things here are beyond anyone's imagination. Here, married women can share a bed with other men, yet this country ranks at the top of the world's happiest nations. Bizarre customs like the worship of the male phallus, breathtaking wonders, and astonishing prohibitions, all of these together create a Bhutan you never dared to imagine. Do you have the courage to explore these mysteries? Let's discover 25 strange things that can only be found in Bhutan. Number 25. A total ban on tobacco. In 2004, Bhutan became the first country in the world to completely ban the sale of tobacco. The government not only prohibited the sale of tobacco, but also issued a decree banning smoking in all public places, even in entertainment venues. This is part of the effort to build a smoke-free society. Smoking, chewing tobacco, or cultivating tobacco are all serious offenses that can result in fines or up to 3 years in prison. However, if you really need tobacco, Bhutan allows you to import a certain amount each month, but you must declare it and pay taxes. If you are a visitor, you can also bring tobacco into the country, but you will have to pay a rather high fee at customs. So, what do you think about this regulation? Would you want to visit a country where everyone works together to maintain such a clean environment? Number 24. Polygamy in Bhutan. In this country, known as the happiest place on earth, there is a peculiar tradition. Not everyone believes in polygamy. In Bhutan, both men and women have the right to have multiple spouses, and this is not uncommon. Even the current king of Bhutan has a single, ordinary wife, while his father married 4 sisters. All 4 wives were given the title of queen and were honored in a special ceremony. For women in Bhutan, they can marry multiple men. And it's worth noting that there is no need to hold a wedding ceremony. However, under Bhutanese law, only the first husband is considered legal. Within the family, women have always played a leading role. After marriage, a man may live with his wife's family, and if a separation occurs, the man must compensate his wife. This might make you wonder, if you could marry so many people, would you want to give it a try? But it's important to note that marrying someone from outside Bhutan is not easy. The country has strict regulations to protect its culture and religion. Therefore, if you're considering getting married here, be sure to do your homework before making a decision. Number 23. Traveling to Bhutan is extremely difficult. Bhutan, this ancient country hidden deep within the Himalayas, is renowned for its tranquility and pristine beauty. There is only one international airport, here Paro Airport, which is about 35 kilometers from the capital, Thimphu. This airport has only one runway, but its design follows the traditional Bhutanese palace style, making you feel as if you've stepped into another world. If you want to reach Bhutan by land, you must go through India, and there are 3 main routes: the Doranga Road, Bhutan 152 Road, and the Phuentsholing Thimphu Highway. Among them, the Phuentsholing Thimphu Highway is the most popular. However, Bhutan is not an easy place to reach. Each year, the country only accepts a limited number of visitors to help preserve its culture, identity, and pristine natural landscapes. Visitors cannot apply for a Bhutan visa on their own. Instead, to enter the country, you must join a tour group registered with a local travel agency, which will handle the visa and all related procedures. Without joining a tour group, your chances of obtaining a visa are almost 0. On the other hand, visitors must also pay a minimum fee of at least $200 per person. So, after learning about these regulations, would you still want to visit Bhutan? If you have ever set foot in this country, feel free to share your experience with us. Fact 22. Bhutanese people really love eating chili peppers. In Bhutan, chili peppers are not just a seasoning, but an essential part of daily meals. In front of every household, it's easy to spot strings of dried chili peppers hanging outside. This is how locals store chili peppers for use throughout the year. While in many other places chili peppers are just a seasoning, here they are considered a main vegetable. A meal without chili peppers is incomplete. From fried rice, soups, and stews to salads, chili peppers are indispensable. There's a reason for this. The cold climate of the Himalayas has driven the Bhutanese people to seek foods that help them stay warm, and chili peppers, with their distinctive spiciness, are the perfect solution. In fact, chili peppers are the most commonly consumed vegetable, even surpassing other staple foods. This demonstrates the deep affection and love the Bhutanese people have for chili peppers in their culinary lives. Article 21. The only country in the world without traffic lights. There's something very interesting about Bhutan. This country has no traffic lights. Instead of using red and green signal lights, people here are used to having traffic police stand in the middle of the road to personally direct the flow of vehicles. Thimphu, Bhutan's largest city, is the only place in the country that has traffic lights. But strangely, these traffic lights were dismantled just 24 hours after being installed. The people of Bhutan don't like the presence of traffic lights. They feel there's no need for those lifeless signals, and much prefer having traffic police direct the flow. This has been the traditional practice for generations. You might find this a bit odd, but just imagine if our country had no traffic lights. How would people manage traffic? What do you think about a country that doesn't need traffic lights? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below the video. Number 20. Cutting down trees and fishing are illegal. Bhutan is a country that places great importance on environmental protection, and one notable regulation is that at least 60% of its land must be covered by forests. This means that if someone cuts down trees without special permission, they will face strict punishment, even imprisonment. The government not only prohibits the arbitrary felling of forests, but also encourages people to plant trees to meet the construction and fuel needs of rural areas. In these areas, residents are allowed to use a certain amount of land to plant trees. However, when building houses in urban areas, they must purchase timber from sawmills and obtain a permit. Currently, 72% of Bhutan's land area is covered by forests, an impressive ratio that many countries cannot achieve. Not only is tree cutting prohibited, but Bhutan also imposes strict restrictions on hunting and fishing. These activities are banned and carry penalties similar to those for destroying forests. In addition, the sale of meat and fish is prohibited during sacred months and days on the Bhutanese calendar. However, even though the law does not easily forgive such actions, illegal fishing still occurs at night. Article 19. Tuesday is a dry day. In Bhutan, there is a special day when people must set aside their love for alcohol. Tuesday is also known as Dry Day. Although it has nothing to do with the weather, on this day there is actually a ban on the sale of alcoholic beverages. Alcohol is a beverage that the Bhutanese people are very fond of. Each year, the average adult in Bhutan consumes 8.47 liters of alcoholic beverages, a figure that exceeds the global average of 6.2 liters. It is worth noting that Bhutan has more than 5,400 bars, many of which are concentrated in the capital, Thimphu. Here, people not only drink beer and red wine, but also other spirits, such as low-proof and high-proof liquors. However, every Tuesday, the Bhutanese government enforces a special regulation that prohibits all bars from selling alcohol throughout the day. The question is, why would a country that loves alcohol so much implement such a strict ban? Does this reflect the Bhutanese people's principle of a simple and peaceful way of life? Article 18. The happiest country in the world. Bhutan is a small landlocked country in South Asia, located between India and China. Despite its underdeveloped economy and the continued prevalence of poverty and illiteracy, the people of Bhutan are among the happiest in the world. This country, located in the heart of the Himalayas, is renowned for its breathtaking natural scenery and rich traditional culture. Fresh air, pristine nature, and a strong sense of cultural identity have created a peaceful kingdom. A recent survey shows that the breathtaking scenery, national pride, and sense of community are the factors that make the people of Bhutan feel content and happy. The majority of Bhutanese people practice Buddhism and follow a vegetarian diet. They believe in karma, live with compassion and selflessness, and always act for the benefit of society. This has brought a peaceful way of life to the entire country. Surprisingly, there is almost no crime in Bhutan, and class discrimination is virtually non-existent in society. The Bhutanese people are extremely friendly. Even princes can easily play football with children without any distinction. These factors have created a harmonious society that not only makes its people happy, but also attracts the attention of tourists from all over the world. 17th. Abundant flora and fauna. Bhutan is renowned for its rich and diverse plant and animal life. Bhutan is a paradise for wildlife, with the rich ecosystems of the Himalayas still perfectly preserved to this day. It is home to many rare animal species, from Bengal tigers, leopards, and bears to mountain goats, especially deer species with sharp hooves. However, if you think you can easily spot them, don't get too excited just yet. In Bhutan, hunting wild animals is a serious crime. For example, if someone kills a black-necked crane, they could be sentenced to life imprisonment. However, it is precisely these strict laws that make Bhutan an ideal place for visitors to immerse themselves in pristine nature. Surrounded by magnificent mountains, this country offers a perfect picture of peace and natural beauty. With more than 165 species of mammals, 612 species of birds, 5,000 different plants, 600 types of orchids, and 50 kinds of rhododendrons, Bhutan is truly a treasure for nature lovers. If you're lucky enough, you might catch a glimpse of these rare animals while trekking, climbing, or attending traditional festivals. Bhutan is not only a beautiful country, but also a journey that takes you into another world. Here, humans and nature blend together perfectly. Number 16. Homelessness and free healthcare and education. Homelessness is a global issue, and it exists even in developed countries like the United States, Japan, or Germany. However, in Bhutan, scenes of people wandering or sleeping on the streets are almost non-existent. If citizens lose their homes, they can appeal directly to the king for help, receive land to build a house, and start their lives anew. The Bhutanese government has also pledged to provide free education and healthcare services to all its citizens. This means that nearly 18% of the national budget is allocated to ensuring that everyone can access basic services, so that even if they cannot become wealthy, they are still guaranteed basic living security. Number 15. The late introduction of television and the internet. In Bhutan, everything proceeds slowly and thoughtfully. Television and the internet were not officially permitted until 1999. However, this country is not completely isolated from technological development. In fact, Bhutan was the last country in the world to allow the use of television. However, this was not a carefree change. The Bhutanese people believe that the flood of information from television or the internet could lead to unnecessary comparisons and competition, and even stories of crime and violence. In their view, this would increase psychological stress and make life more exhausting. On the contrary, the Bhutanese people choose to live a simple life. They don't worry about things beyond their control, nor do they feel deprived for not having the latest iPhone or luxury goods. In their eyes, happiness is not about having a lot, but about having enough to live a peaceful life. If you lived in a society where everything was orderly, perhaps you would experience the same comfort and tranquility that they do. Article 14. Bhutan has never been invaded. Surrounded by powerful countries like India and China, Bhutan could have easily been annexed throughout its history. However, this small nation has created a miracle by maintaining its independence for centuries. Even during the colonial era, when other countries were being occupied one after another, Bhutan steadfastly protected its sovereignty. Unlike other countries, Bhutan's National Day does not commemorate its independence, but instead celebrates the 17th of December, 1907. On this day, the first king of the Wangchuck dynasty was enthroned, marking the beginning of Bhutan's era of sustained independence. To this day, this date remains the national day, reminding the people of their resilience and strength. Can you imagine how the Bhutanese people feel when they look back on their own history? Do they feel proud that their country has never been invaded? Number 13. No slaughterhouses. In Bhutan, although people still eat meat, there is a rather unique phenomenon. The country has no slaughterhouses. All meat is imported from neighboring countries, India and Nepal. Why is that? Because Bhutan is a Buddhist country, and nearly 40% of the population follows a vegetarian diet. The slaughter of animals is strictly prohibited, and slaughter is only allowed when an animal dies of natural causes. Even the owners of the animals are not permitted to slaughter their own livestock. In addition, during certain months and important festivals, the sale of meat is completely banned. This reflects Bhutan's strong commitment to protecting animal life and upholding cultural values. Number 12. There are more stray dogs than cars in the capital. In Bhutan's capital, Thimphu, it's a common sight to see stray dogs wandering the streets. They can sleep anywhere, from narrow alleys to crowded neighborhoods. Because of strong Buddhist beliefs, locals do not drive away or harm these dogs. Instead, they take care of them. When people go out, they often leave leftovers for the dogs, which is seen as an act of compassion. As a result, the stray dogs in Thimphu are not only healthy, but are also known as the happiest stray dogs in the world. This harmonious relationship between the Bhutanese people and animals has created a unique and warm-hearted culture. Number 11. The famous Fertility Temple. Chimilakang, also known as the Fertility Temple, is a renowned temple in Bhutan that attracts thousands of couples facing infertility issues every year. Pilgrims participate in special rituals and receive blessings from the temple's founder, Lama Drukpa Kunli. This saint's unique insights on love, respect, and freedom have made it a symbol of love and fertility in Bhutan. Locals believe that visiting this temple can bring health and fertility to women struggling with infertility. This temple is not only a religious site, but also an excellent place for visitors to experience local culture. As you pass through lush rice fields and climb up the hills, it is more than just a pilgrimage, it is a journey to experience the harmony between man and nature. Article 10. Don't measure success by GDP. Bhutan is the only country in the world that does not measure success by GDP, but by gross national happiness, GNH. The index assesses happiness, health, education, environment, and quality of life. Jigme Singye Wangchuck, the king who introduced GNH, once said, "For Bhutan, gross national happiness is more important than gross national product." In Bhutan, you won't see many billboards, but you will find thought-provoking slogans such as "Life is a journey," "Keep moving forward," or "We apologize for any inconvenience." GNH is reflected in daily life, aiming to ensure that everyone in this kingdom can feel happiness and comfort. It is this philosophy that makes Bhutan a unique country focused on environmental protection, cultural preservation, and quality of life. Ninth point. A mysterious country isolated from the world before 1974. Before 1974, Bhutan was a completely mysterious country, cut off from the outside world. In that year, the Bhutanese government decided to open its doors and showcase its unique culture and natural beauty to the world. Interestingly, In 1974, only 274 foreign tourists were allowed to enter the country. By 2019, this number had exceeded 300,000. However, Bhutan has always adhered to a high-value, low-impact tourism policy. Each visitor is required to pay a $200 sustainable development fee, which is specifically used to protect Bhutan's pristine ecological environment. 8th point. A country without railways. Bhutan is one of the few countries in the world without a railway network. This is mainly due to its mountainous terrain and geographic isolation. Building railways here is not only technically challenging but also extremely costly. People mainly rely on road transportation. The government continuously improves the road system to ensure safe and convenient travel. This choice of transportation reflects Bhutan's development philosophy of prioritizing environmental protection, which is highly consistent with its national strategy of pursuing gross national happiness. 7th point. Strict plastic bag ban. Bhutan's pioneering initiatives in environmental protection are truly admirable. As early as 1999, Bhutan attempted to implement a plastic bag ban. Although there were several setbacks, it was finally successfully enforced in 2019. Nowadays, in supermarkets and markets, people use eco-friendly alternatives such as cloth bags and woven bags. This ban is an important measure for Bhutan to protect its natural environment, demonstrating the leadership of this small nation in the global environmental movement. This inevitably makes one wonder, should we also learn from Bhutan's experience? Article 6. International Archery. Archery is undoubtedly Bhutan's national sport, and its popularity even surpasses the reverence for the king. Archery competitions are held year-round across the country, and participants must wear traditional attire. The competitions are not only a contest of skill, but also a psychological battle. Competitors will try every possible way to distract their opponents. Whenever an arrow hits the bullseye, the celebrations can last for a long time. People sing and dance, sharing in the joy together. These competitions are not only athletic events, but also community gatherings that reflect the optimistic and cheerful nature of the Bhutanese people. Article 5. The King's Romantic Love Story. The love story between Bhutan's King Jigme Khisarnamyel Wangchuk and Queen Jetsun Pema is truly a modern fairy tale. At the age of 21, the king married the then youngest queen in the world, 21 years old. It is especially worth mentioning that, although the law allows polygamy, the king publicly declared that Pema would be his only wife. Their love began with a childhood encounter. When 7-year-old Pema met the 17-year-old prince, she boldly confessed that she wanted to marry him. This story demonstrates the Bhutanese people's steadfast belief in true love. 4th. Traditional attire in daily life. Strolling through the streets of Bhutan, you'll notice that traditional clothing is the mainstream choice for everyday wear. Men wear a robe-like garment called a go, while women wear a kira, a full-length dress. These outfits are not only beautiful, but also practical. The go's large pocket can hold all sorts of personal items. Even students are required to wear traditional-style school uniforms every day. This clothing culture is an important way for Bhutanese people to preserve their traditions and is a vivid expression of their cultural confidence. 3rd. The rich and colorful festival celebrations. Festivals in Bhutan are full of religious significance and cultural charm. During the grandest festival, the Sarth Tibetan New Year, people dress in their finest clothes and perform ritual dances to ward off evil and pray for blessing. The Cham dance is a religious dance performed exclusively by men and is regarded as a special form of meditation. The most mysterious is the Kandro festival. At midnight, masked dancers perform ancient dances that are said to drive away evil spirits. These festivals are important carriers of Bhutanese cultural heritage and attract visitors from all over the world. 2nd. The unique national flag etiquette. Bhutan has unique and solemn regulations regarding its national flag. The flag is only displayed from sunrise to sunset and must be respectfully taken down and stored away. The white dragon on the flag holds 4 jewels, symbolizing power and purity. This strict flag etiquette fosters patriotism among the people and also reflects the Bhutanese people's profound respect for their national symbols. This sense of ceremony is precisely an important bond that sustains Bhutanese cultural identity. First, the unique phallus worship culture. Visitors new to Bhutan are often shocked by the ubiquitous phallic motifs, which appear in murals, on door lintels, and even as rooftop decorations. This is not merely a form of fertility worship. In Bhutanese culture, the phallic symbol is believed to possess the power to ward off evil and disasters. Locals devoutly paint these motifs on their homes to pray for peace and safety. This unique cultural phenomenon demonstrates Bhutan's wisdom in perfectly blending ancient beliefs with modern life. Bhutan proves through its actions that happiness is not simply the accumulation of material wealth, but a holistic choice of lifestyle. In this fast-paced modern world, Bhutan is like a wise sage, reminding us to slow down and return to our true selves. Perhaps this is why this small country at the foothills of the Himalayas has become a benchmark for global happiness studies. Which of Bhutan's experiences do you think are most worth learning from in your own country? Feel free to share your insights in the comments section. Remember, there is more than one path to happiness, but each requires us to discover and create it with our hearts.